at my church and my different social groups and friends in the Austin area, been a very fun topic for me. I've been talking about cryonics a lot in the past week. Uh,
I
yeah, so
suppose.
even today when I teach Sunday school and I have about 10 kids in each class. I do kindergarten through first grade currently, and so I even had some parents talking to me out on the playground. So and I did give out some Alcor magazines, so that
Hey,
was a lot of fun.
isn't that something? Wow. Yeah, that
Oh, I
sounds.
see.
No movie
Yeah,
deals yet, though,
yeah, I
huh?
see the question about the special if radical life extinction has gone mainstream. I think that this really is filling a need. I think with the baby boomers are starting to age right now. And my mom, in particular, had a lot of friends that were like very interested in the special,
Oh,
and
really?
I've heard that more, yeah, from older people at my church than some of the younger people, people my age.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so I mean I think the whole thing was sort of geared towards older people. I'm not sure how attractive it would have been for people in their 20s or
Right, right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
but yeah, that type of. Oh, I see someone posted the link to the watch the videos, the segments of the videos.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you very much. Yes.
yes, Angelique, thank you very much. I was just getting to that. But yeah, I mean, TV audiences generally do skew a little bit older nowadays. Anyway, and Barbara Walters draws an older audience as well, so I'm sure that kind of played into that. Uh, with gearing it toward older people. But I'm fine with having a commercial for life extension if that's what it was. As kind of
Yeah.
a surface treatment of all of the different things that were going on.
Yeah, and if you go to ABC News and type in freezing yourself into the future, that's a little bit of a longer, segment on Alcor. But the whole piece is quite positive. Now, one thing that the people who were filmed for it, when they're discussing how they were edited, we were all pretty sad that some of the more intellectual things we said, or some of
All
the science.
all dropped out, huh?
Oh, yeah,
All hit the
definitely.
cutting room floor, as they say in TV, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately. Yeah, but that is an interesting question that Richard raises because that's something that I ask almost every guest that we have on the Sunday evening update because we have a lot of people who are out there, on the advocacy side, whether it be researchers or we had Tom Mooney on the political end of things, and Tom said, we're just a blip, a tiny, tiny blip on the radar screen of world society. But I just tend to think I keep on seeing more mainstream programming that is favorable to life extension and a lot of news coverage on real advanced medical treatments, things that are repairing organs and helping people live a lot longer, disease treatment. And I just can't help but think that there is some mainstream momentum going, Richard. So that's a pretty good question there. When do you know? I don't know if we'll ever know when we'll exactly be mainstream when it's really going to hit the big time. I don't know if there's going to be a big event that all of a sudden everyone's going to be like, wow, this is great, we're all going to do it. Maybe a like a silver bullet type cancer treatment, because that would extend a lot of people's lives a lot longer. Or like a silver bullet Alzheimer's treatment. You take your enzyme, and all of a sudden, pop, you're back to normal. I think that would force people maybe to think a lot more about it. A lot of people that are out in the mainstream. Anyway, that's kind of my answer to Richard's question. But I want to encourage anyone else who's tuning in this evening. Feel free to ask any questions of Shannon. We've been talking about the Barbara Walters 100 Live to 150 special that occurred earlier this week on Tuesday, and we did have someone post a link to the program, different segments. You can go to the Immense forums and check out some of those segments. But also, Shannon, of course, is active in a lot of different things, And if you have any questions for Shannon about just general topics such as cryonics or transhumanism in general, or especially raising kids with that type of mindset, feel free to jump in at any point. We'll continue on here for a couple of minutes. Do you have any other input from your experience there with the Barbara Walters special, Shannon?
Well, Aviana, who is in public school, where in our neighborhood, has 21 children in her class. There are 4 classes of fifth graders, so there are a lot of kids there. And she had, out of all of that, about 4 kids that saw her on the program.
Wow.
And yeah, so I guess their parents were watching, and they got excited because they said, "Hey, I know that girl." And because Aviana hadn't really spent time like telling people, because saying, "Hey, watch me on TV." So right, so but it was fun because people came up, and then so she did have the opportunity to talk about it some with her friends about what chronics is about. And I was very sad that they made the comment about how the kids have their own idea as far as they understand that, well, it's a chance. But Aviana actually talked about some of the science, and she was talking to Barbara Walters about the sugar that's inside the cell of a frog that causes the ice crystals to be rounded so it doesn't cause damage, and so they're okay, and then how the cryopreservants do the same thing. They help preserve the humans and protect the cells. And so she actually said a lot of very intelligent things that got cut from that,
Yeah.
which was kind of sad.
That's unfortunate that she didn't get more airtime because she's smart as a whip, is what I can tell. And I see a couple of people did ask a question here, asking backstage, did he have any interesting maybe conversations about all this? And to Ustreamer 94842, we did talk about that a little bit. Maybe you just want to mention once again, Shannon, some of the people you talked about. The makeup artist was kind of interested.
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time talking with her, and people generally, I'll talk to anyone about cryonics, when I get into a conversation, or it'll happen to come up some of the things that I do, or what, because my advocacy in the life extension field tends to come up since I do volunteer a fair amount in it. And, people always, when they're face to face with me, say that they're interested in it, and they have varying levels of that. Some people are a lot more, they want to get a subscription to Chronics magazine, they want to actually read about it, and other people just say that was interesting, or yeah, they wanted to do that when they were a kid. I actually get that a lot. People that said that they had seen it on science fiction show, or they had, Star Trek, or they'd read about it. But they tend to not really go anywhere or do any backup. It's just sort of a, yeah, that's interesting, and then going on. Yeah, so that tends to be my regular response. I know recently I've been talking with a lot of my friends at church, and have been, but then again, I don't push, them. I will just offer.
If it comes up,
yeah.
If it comes up in conversation, right.
Oh, of course, yeah, and I will just mention that I could get them like a subscription or something like that, and sometimes if they're very interested, I'll give them some of my own material, but I don't hound people.
Okay, right. Yeah, I see Lazarus, he brought up a good point, too, about going mainstream, and if there was ever a person who was ill with an inoperable, say, tumor, and they were cryopreserved for a couple of months, and then later, that they were, fixed up and reanimated, and it worked, I think that would bring a huge spotlight on life extension and radical life extension. So, good point there, Lazarus.
Oh yeah, I think at this point, if we could even do something like a rodent that could demonstrate their memory of a maze, or